has been a while. I'm back. I have been away because I got a little roasted on the TikTok. The TikTok. And it's kind of made me not want to make videos anymore, but it's spooky month, my favorite time of the year. And I just saw the new Conjuring, and I really want to talk about it. So I'm here, and you know what? I'm making videos for Spooky Month because I just love it. For the lovely TikTok audience, let me give you my credentials. I am a filmmaker. I'm a screenwriter. I have my bachelor's degree from University of Michigan in filmmaking and a minor in screenwriting. Well, more like a sub-major, but that's neither here nor there. And I've worked on so many different films as sound designer, editor, sound recordist, director of photography, camera operator. Did I say editor? I do a lot of editing. Mostly editing now. But screenwriter. I've written quite a lot of screenplays as well. Am I in Hollywood? No, I live in Michigan because I'm poor and I cannot afford to go out to LA right now. But I still get work remotely, so that's nice. So there's my credentials, so that you all know that I kind of know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So now that I've prefaced that, oh my god, I hate TikTok, guys. I don't know. I like doing YouTube. You guys are nice. You guys are fun. TikTok is very rude. Come here. Come here. Okay. You can come be in the video too. Oh. We're talking about the new Conjuring. Let's talk about it. The first thing that I need to talk about with this movie that drove me nuts the entire film, because every single shot of the kitchen in every scene, there is a light in the background in the kitchen. And not just a light, a set light. I feel like it was like a tungsten light, if I'm remembering correctly. Could have been an LED. It was a set light. It is not supposed to be in the kitchen, and it's also sitting, it's like, if I'm remembering correctly, it was stood up on the floor in front of the counters. So it's literally hold on. Okay. We have a tripod here. Well, a light stand, actually. That's neither here nor there. Okay. So we have our light stand just sitting in the room with the light on the entire film in the kitchen. And here's my thoughts on that. Originally I was like, okay, my thinking is that, hold on. That's better. Is that better? I think that's better. But okay, my thinking is that they had it in one shot and were like, oh fuck. Well, script supervisor may have said, okay, well now every single shot of the kitchen we have to have that light, otherwise it's even more noticeable. But I strongly disagree with that, because you can remove a light from a shot. I don't understand. I mean, yes, it takes a lot of work in post. I mean, it's not horrible, especially with AI tools. You can so easily just have it remove something from your shot within seconds. So I'm just there's no excuse, and this is a $1 million budgeted film. There is no excuse to have a light stand in your shot where it clearly does not belong. And you know what? If anybody argues with me on this, you're wrong. You're wrong. There should not be a light in the kitchen of a scene standing on the floor in front of the countertops in the kitchen. And I'm telling you, like, if you go back and rewatch this movie, or if you haven't watched it yet, look out for it. Every shot of the kitchen, there's several scenes that take place where it shows, like, the kitchen. Like, there'll be one actor standing in the kitchen, or, like, a shot or whatever of the actors that shows the whole kitchen, and you can see the light stand, and it's in every single shot of the kitchen. It drives me nuts, because I'm just like, this is like a film school mistake. I don't think it ever happened on my sets that I've worked on, but I have heard of that happening in school. But even then, it was like, okay, well, we just have to reshoot this scene because there's a light kit here in this shot. Same with, like, if there's a boom in the shot, you don't use that shot. Or if there's a boom in the shot, you crop the image to get the boom out. I have dealt with that in post a few times. And you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I have edited a film that had a light stand in the shot, and the director was arguing with me to get rid of it. Or, I'm sorry, to keep it, because he really liked his shot. It was like a panning shot following the actor as they're walking from, like, left to right on the screen. And I'm like, no, there is a light. Okay. Ugh. She's the big girl. So, yes, I was working on a project. The director asked me to keep the shot that had a light stand in it, and I was like, I'm not doing that. We're gonna have to use a different take, or this needs to be reshot. And I ended up doing a workaround where I basically edited another shot and did, like, a reversal so that it has her walking the opposite way. Or I did, like, a flip of the screen so it has her walking the way that I wanted her to. But that shot didn't have the light kit in it. And I remember, like, going back and forth with it, because the director's like, it's a light. Nobody's gonna notice it. It's fine. And I'm like, oh, it's noticeable. Because literally there's a girl walking on screen, and the camera's, like, panning and following her. And as it pans to, like, the center, you just see a huge light stand right next to her, and you cannot miss it. And that is one thing that I'm like, no, as an editor especially, no. If there is a light in the shot, you don't fucking use it. And the other thing is, I've had to do reshoots on films for various different reasons when I've worked on them, and it sucks. Like, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. It sucks. Sometimes it's necessary. That is one of those situations. Why would they not just reshoot the scene? Or I don't understand. It drives me insane, because, like, these people are getting paid so much more than I probably will ever make, and they're making film student mistakes like that. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to talking about the other things in that movie that I did not like, and then things that I did like. So, overall, I will say I enjoyed the film. I liked the nostalgia, and they did a lot of, like, catering, I think, to the audience, fan service. What I didn't like was it took a very long time for them to get to the point. They didn't even fully get to, like, doing the whole exorcism thing until already, like, at least an hour into the movie. They did a whole lot of, like, just character arc thing, like, B-plots, which personally I don't mind. I think I also didn't mind because I really like the stories of Ed and Lorraine Warren. However, some of it was just so unnecessary and did not need to be in there. Like, I liked learning a little bit about their past. I think some of that was useful, and, like, you know, helped to show their character growth and give a background of, like, how things have been. I did like them introducing the mirror in the past and then kind of cutting to what's happening now and connecting it. I did like that. What I did not like was the amount of scenes that involved her daughter, Ed and Lorraine's daughter, that were so not necessary. And it is such a waste of screen time. And screen time is such a precious thing. And this is one of the reasons I got in arguments on the TikTok, because so many people were arguing with me about screen time and like, oh, like where's there's beauty and art to moments of silence or like these like character moments. And I'm like, yes, that's true, but they still have to be doing something for the plot. I'm just saying, like, you go to film school, and that is a huge fucking deal. If you can cut a scene because it's doing nothing for the film, you cut it. Because the reality is, you only get, like, an hour and a half to tell your story, and you want to tell that story in an encompassing way that is entertaining, because it is a movie after all. That's the reality. We're watching movies, okay? We're not reading a $1,000 novel. $1,000. I didn't mean that. 1,000-page novel. And you're watching a movie. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be artistic. It's supposed to tell a story. And when you have a lot of filler, it does weigh out the important parts of the film. Like, you know, if you have just a lot of nothing going on, most likely the audience is going to walk away not even fully remembering your film because it didn't hit as hard, because you're not using the time wisely to get your point across with your film. My point is, there was a lot of filler content in this film. I didn't like that. And not just that I didn't like that. No, it's filler content. It's not necessary. It's wasting screen time, boring your audience, and you're taking time away that could have been used showing more of the horror that's actually happening in the film. Like, I did like the haunting scenes and like the horror scares and stuff in the house of the victims, I guess. I liked that stuff, but they weren't giving very much of it, which, you know, is the Conjuring universe some amazing, spectacular franchise? No, it's a ghost paranormal series that's based on two people that are well-known scam artists. So I'm just like, is it anything like novel? No. But there is still a lot that I think could have made this film a lot better if they spent more time with the actual horror elements instead of like wasting time with the side character of, I mean, I guess she was a main character in this film, but it was kind of pointless. My last big issue with the film was the scene of them getting the demon out of the mirror and out of their daughter. What was that scene? Like, can anyone explain? You know what? I'm not gonna ask that because somebody's gonna call me an idiot, and I really don't fucking want to hear it right now. But the whole, like, how they solve the problem is them all like just putting their hands on it and like just basically saying prayers and like, oh, we're holding our hands on it and we're pushing the ghosty away, and then magically poof, it's gone. I'm just like, are we really doing this? Like, that's so fucking unrealistic. Not that it should be realistic, it's a Conjuring movie. I'm sorry, I know. I'm just like, that's how we're like solving, that's the climax of your film, is them all just putting their hands on it and poof. Like, I did like the daughter being possessed, and like I liked those scenes because I think also it adds to the trauma for especially Lorraine, because you know they've both been doing so much to like keep their daughter safe and protected, so having their daughter kind of step up as a main character in this film and be the one that is possessed, like I liked that. I liked how they did that. I just am like, their way of fixing it was very lame to me. Like, because I think about the first Conjuring film, and again, I'm not saying that these are a masterpiece or that they were written perfectly, because I'm not gonna say that. Like, it's a Conjuring movie. I don't think anybody is like, you know, gonna argue that it's like the most. You know what? Somebody probably will. My point is that the first movie, they like had this mother being possessed, and they were trying to remind her of these beautiful memories of her past, and she was basically able to fight it herself and able to fight against it and get it out of her herself by remembering who she truly is. Cute. Makes kind of sense. You know, this new one, what they did with like it just was so anticlimactic, and it didn't make much sense. Like, I just thought it was very, very disappointing. I did really love the use of a mirror, because I have always loved like the movie Mirrors. What's the other one? I can't think of the other one. My boyfriend's obsessed with it. But anyways, I like the use of mirrors in horror. I think like that's always been something very creepy to me, the idea of like looking in the mirror and seeing yourself mutated in some form, or like, you know, doing something different, because that's kind of terrifying to me. Like, the most terrifying thing I think is like waking up to not being who I think that I am, you know, or having some sort of thing like that happen. That's scary to me. Like, a lot of the paranormal stuff is not. I just kind of find it fun. You know, Terrifier is fun. Halloween, Jason, all of them. It's just fun horror to me. But I do like, I get the creepies when I think about like, oh, looking in the mirror and seeing myself like making a menacing face at me or something. Like, that would freak me out, because that's something that is like obviously supernatural and you know, fantasy, but also it's tangible enough that you can kind of put yourself in the shoes of that experience and be able to like scare yourself by the thought of it, I guess, if that makes sense. But I did really like that. I liked, you know, don't look in the mirror, because it can have you do something to yourself that like you can't control. I do really like that. But yes, I think that their way of getting rid of the possessed daughter, or like getting rid of the demon from their daughter, it was just very, very anticlimactic. Excuse me. Which brings me to the last note I have, which is the ending. Listen, fan service wise, I liked the ending because it's sweet and it closes it up. Even though I will say, these movies make them too much money. They're not gonna stop. They're probably done with the Conjuring movies for now. Give it another 5 to 10 years and they'll probably have some like either remake or something. They'll, you know, it's Hollywood, baby. But they're absolutely, with the ending, going to have another Annabelle movie. They teased it so much in this movie, it irritated the fuck out of me. I do like some of the Annabelle movies, but it just was a bit too much. Like, too much of them pushing Annabelle onto you. Hinting. New Annabelle coming. So yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised when there's a new Annabelle movie announced. Maybe there already has been. I don't think so, though. I can't, like, talk about the ins and outs of my day job, but I basically have access to seeing all upcoming movies for the next, like, 10 years. And I have not seen anything for Annabelle. I didn't say that. Allegedly. But my point is, you know what? Hold on. I have to know. Oh god, am I gonna do something bad though if I tell you guys it is? Okay. I may or may not have checked. And there may or may not, there's not, allegedly nothing currently in the works, but there could definitely be, and I really think they're going to, because they really pushed that in this movie, which I get. It was like the trauma of the daughter and her fears of the doll, but still, I'm still not buying it. I'm not buying that was fully in there because of the story. I really do think it was like, let's push Annabelle and maybe we'll get enough fans like gearing up and we'll get a high budget to make something. But the ending, back to the ending, it's just the wedding scene, and then like the cute ending, and then, you know, and this isn't even fully the end, but like when the boyfriend like proposes to her, like all of that, I'm sorry, it's unnecessary, and I know that people are gonna be like, it's part of the story, it's part of the character growth. It was unnecessary. It's a horror movie. I'm sorry. This is a horror movie. I did not come to see a horror movie to watch a romance wedding. I don't like romance films. And yes, is there romance and horror a lot? Yeah. Is it thrown in your face, and is there at least 30 minutes of screen time for a romance in a horror movie typically? No, it is like sprinkled in within the horror. It was too much. And then, you know, I didn't bring this up, but I was just like thinking back on the film, and I'm like, my last note, my final last note, is the appearance of this like demon character, because it clearly was just like an older woman with a bunch of makeup on her face, which very much resembled the like scary witch character in the movie Weapons, which a lot of people were like, oh my god, like, no, that movie is so deep and like it's scary. Believe what you want. I'm so sorry to tell you, but most horror films produced by major studios with a huge ass budget are not that deep. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. If you want to see films that actually have a heart to them, they're rare to come by, and also a lot of the time are indie films, or it's like a gem in the mix. And I'm not saying Hollywood movies are like heartless or bad. No, I do think that there are plenty of great Hollywood made films. Like, I'm not saying that they're not amazing, and that they can't be deep and that they can't tell stories. I'm just saying specifically within horror, a lot of times it's not. But yes, my final note is the look of the demon character. It just looked really cheap and lazy. Here's my thing. And this is a thing that people were, of course, attacking me for the movie Weapons too. Of like, oh, you just wanted a whole other movie, or like, oh, like, what would be good to you, or whatever. And my point is, I have worked on and seen indie films that are better than some of these newer horror movies coming out. And probably other genres, but I'm specifically mostly watching horror movies because it's just like who I am. But huge budget studios throw money at movies, and a lot of them are made so lazily now. Like, it's the most low effort content to be made, and it's really sad to me because I think right now we're kind of in a phase of like a lot of remakes being made right now, and some people love that. I am definitely not a fan because it's so unoriginal, and I know it's like impossible almost to make something original at this point, but you can try. Or you can just like make a story, like a new story, even if it is including elements of stuff that we've seen and done in the past. Like, still, it's something fresh. And I think that that's like my biggest issue with most movies right now, and especially horror, is just the amount of like incredibly low effort put into them. Either they're using super poorly done CGI, which I like. That's one of the things I'm like, there's not an excuse. I have seen amazing CGI done. It can be done. It is expensive, but it's like when you are making millions, and when you have millions and millions and millions of dollars to put into a film, that is such a privilege to be able to have that kind of money, and for you to use it to make garbage is just such a slap in the face. Like, it I think personally pisses me off because I'm like, I would make so many films if I had money to do so, and I don't. I really do not. And it kills me. Like, I would love to be in the industry fully making and directing films myself. I have screenplays I would love to make into films, and I just can't. I don't have money, and I have tried to get funding. It is very difficult, especially for horror, to get funding because horror is generally just not looked upon well. A lot of times films that are chosen and especially by festivals, unless you're specifically applying to a horror festival, you're not likely to get an award. A lot of times it goes to dramas or comedies. And so my point is, like, it's incredibly hard for an indie filmmaker to be able to make something. And so these people that have millions and millions of dollars to make films and are making the most low effort bullshit is just such a slap in the face. Like, you have a chance to make something phenomenal and you're throwing shit out. Like, can we stop defending these terrible movies? Like, if I give a negative review on something, it probably fucking deserves a negative review, or it deserves some sort of criticism. That is my point here, because I love horror and I want better. I'm gonna talk about when there's shitty shit happening, so that maybe somewhere someone may sometime hear word that, oh, their film wasn't made the best. Oh, people actually did notice the light stand in our shot. Yeah, do fucking better. Like, that's my point. It drives me up a wall. Because I'm just like, it's getting so much worse as time goes on. And I'm not saying that for every film. Of course not. There have been amazing films made in the past few years. There's just a lot of shit. And a lot of shit made with very high budgets. And I feel like we need to stop being okay with that, and we need to stop defending that. I don't watch any movie and absolutely hate it. I don't think I've ever... There's maybe been 1 or 2 films that I've watched where I'm like, that's disgusting. And that's when I went down my rabbit hole of watching, like, really disturbing films, just to, like, kind of push myself and, like, I'm so hardcore, I can, like, take whatever kind of film, like, I don't get scared kind of rabbit hole I went down. That was, you know, some of them films were really, I think back and I'm like, I really wish I could scrub that from my memory. But all that to say, there's been very little films that I watch and I'm like, I hate this. That's not true. And I want, like, everyone on especially TikTok to hear that. I don't hate films. I criticize them because that's what I do. Alright. Goodbye, lovelies. Happy spooky